Hey guys, another beautiful day. It's just perfect. It's not too hot. The sun's shining. There's no clouds in the sky. Nice breeze. Hear the sound of the trees. It's just incredible. Love this time of year. It's just feels very alive. Everything's very green. There's a lot of that really good, alive kind of energy. Nature's really speaking to us. Hopefully, we're listening. Um, yeah, in this video, I want to introduce sort of my philosophy on movement or exercise. So, really, the way I see it is there's three components to movement or exercise. If we look at it from more of a structured kind of point of view, obviously humans, our ancestors didn't really analyze things too much the way we do, so we're sort of modernized humans. So we kind of label and analyze things a lot. So that's fine. I'll play the game. Um, yeah. So basically, you have flexibility training, flexibility movement. That would be like stretching. Could be dynamic or static holds. And then you have cardiovascular, right? So you're training your cardiovascular system, right? That's your heart and blood flow and things like that, right? You're gonna strengthen your heart muscle, right? Your heart is a muscle. And then you have resistance training, right? So could be like strength training, right? Where you're gonna be sort of challenging the muscle skeletal system as well as training the central nervous system, right? That's a key component in controlling your muscle skeletal system. For some reason, I have trouble saying skeletal. Okay, there we go. So yeah, to be able to sort of integrate those two systems, right? Your central nervous system to communicate with that muscle skeletal system. There you go again. See, I gotta stop saying that. So I think it's good to if you're going to if you're just starting out with your movement, you definitely want to incorporate all three of those. And my advice for that is to go slow, guys. Especially if you're new to exercise, if you're somebody who hasn't really been super active and you want to start to actually incorporate these habits into your life, then just go easy, right? Just take baby steps into it. Your body has all the time in the world to adapt, so you don't need to you don't need to go from a zero stimulus to a high stimulus right away. You're going to get really optimal benefits from the bare minimum, and then you can slowly kind of build up from there, right? So in terms of flexibility training, obviously yoga is incredible. I personally haven't really gotten too much into yoga. There was a time where I was doing a lot of calisthenics, so a lot of body weight type stuff and balancing handstands and headstands and the planche as well, which is a cool kind of move where you kind of it's kind of like a push-up position, but your feet are actually off the ground, so it definitely takes a lot of strength, but it's sort of like a static hold. I don't know if that's really the best example of flexibility, but even just doing your standards stretching or some sort of a dynamic type of a stretch. I think things like qigong and tai chi are really good things to look into. And you can sort of do full body or focus on just one muscle area at a time, sort of stretching it. And the goal of flexibility training, really, guys, is to slowly allow yourself to increase your range of motion, right? So that's going to help you when you do end up doing some resistance training. It's you're going to have a better range of motion and functionality of your human body, right? So you guys got to remember the human body is basically your vehicle, right? It's like your car. And your soul is the driver, okay? And then you have your mind as well. The mind is kind of a backseat driver. It's always kind of trying to take over and keep you safe, but really your soul is the only true element of you that knows and keeps you safe. So it's a matter of going within and trusting the soul, and allow the mind to trust the soul and integrate with the soul to create to maintain that body, right? To drive the body and have some fun, but also to nourish the body and take good care of it. Okay, so movement is sort of like driving the car, right? It's really fun to take your car out for a ride and kind of put the pedal to the metal sometimes, right? Not all the time, right? Once in a while, okay? And so that actually kind of brings me into resistance training. I guess I'm kind of skipping over cardiovascular, but I'll come back to that. So resistance training, in my opinion, and especially my philosophy on it, I might take a different approach, but this is just me personally, so it doesn't have to be this way. I'm just sort of giving my philosophy or my opinion on how to optimize resistance training. That's sort of, in my opinion, is like putting pedal to the metal, right? That's really like firing everything up, right, on all cylinders, for a very short period of time, right? Just to really, make sure that the vehicle's going, and have some fun too, right? Push to your potential, right? And be safe, right? And that's the thing is, again, if your mind takes over and the ego takes over, that's when you're going to get hurt, right? So be humble, right? Be humble, and start low, and properly warm up when you're going to do the resistance training. But my views on resistance training is to go hard and go quick. Okay, you don't need to be in the gym for hours doing all these sets and ripping your muscles apart. That's not what it is. Okay, it's about the contraction. If you want to really optimize your central nervous system and the ability to recruit muscle fibers, right, and really fire those neurons, then you want to go explosive, right? But here's the thing: you want to practice the movements, right? So you want to make sure that if you're new to resistance training, I would encourage you to basically do the natural movements, right? So, in my opinion, what's natural would be any sort of a squat type variation, a lift. So that's picking weight up off the ground like a deadlift. And there's so many variations of this as well. There's no right or wrong way to go about it. And then you have your pressing. I like to overhead press. It's just more natural. I don't know about bench press. It's one of those exercise I have mixed views on. I think it can be okay, but you've got to be careful. It seems more natural to lift things over your head than to be lying on your back and press something. I mean, yeah, if you're in a life or death situation where you have to do that, sure, but it just seems more practical that for your everyday living to press overhead. And then of course you have like a chin up type of a pull, right? Like a vertical pull. And then rows are great too, where you're bent over in a row. That's sort of a pickup, sort of a little bit different than a deadlift, but those are good movements as well. I think dips could be pretty good too, or push-ups. With dips, you gotta be a little bit careful. Tuck your elbows in. Yeah, so if you get sort of a routine where you can incorporate your whole body, and the idea is not to rip the muscles apart. You're just inducing extra metabolic stress that you don't need. You're going to raise your cortisol, and the more time you spend in the gym, the higher your cortisol is going to go up, right? So you want to just go in, get done what you want to get done, practice the movements, and once you've got a lot of practice and a lot of experience behind your belt, then you can work that central nervous system neural adaptations to get the maximal strength, right? So I keep my reps really low because it's like I want to put all full focus into the repetition. And again, the repetition is all about moving the weight, right? And exploding and contracting the muscles. When you contract the muscles, that's when you generate this power, right? You're not, there's some views on, training for metabolic stress where you're focusing on the negative portion of the rep. You're really stretching your muscle and ripping the muscle. It can induce certain cell signaling pathways, myokines, and some pro-inflammatory pathways that can actually be beneficial for adaptation and longevity. I haven't done a whole lot of research on that. It just seems more natural for me to, or instinctive for me to, explode on the movement, and don't try to slowly control the weight down, right? Obviously do everything safely, but my focus is on the contraction, right? So if I'm doing the squat, I'm gonna squat down, and then I'm gonna really just explode on my positive, right? That's the force that I'm generating, right? So I guess that's just my style of training, right? There's no right or wrong. That's the thing, guys. Again, the most important thing you can ever do for yourself with regards to movement or diet or any of these things is to follow your soul, okay? Follow your heart, follow your instincts. Don't do what somebody else tells you to do, okay? Unless it really truly resonates. If it resonates here, right, your heart and your soul, and somebody's, you got the information, then go for it, give it a try. But just take caution and make sure that it resonates with you, right? Because that's what I was going to come on to next is you got to make your exercise enjoyable, right? So if you do somebody else's plan, that might be enjoyable to them, might not be enjoyable to you, right? And change it up a lot, guys. Like if you're getting bored, you're getting stagnant, like, change it up, okay? That's important too, to keep things exciting, right? You shouldn't do exercise because you feel like you have to, and it's healthy. You should do it because you have the energy to put into something and you feel better after. That's really the key. If you feel worse after your exercise, it's not the right kind of exercise, or maybe you're not in a proper energy flow state where you can actually handle the exercise. It ends up, instead of enhancing your flow, it ends up stressing you, right? So when you have all these energy blocks and you try to force the energy to flow, right, and you get blocked, you're just building up, right? So it's actually can hurt you. It just causes more stress. So that's why I always introduce nourishment first to my clients before we even discuss movement, because a lot of the clients may not even be ready for movement, right? And a lot of people that are ex-athletes or things like that, they've probably burnt out their body, so they really need to take a break from exercise and movement in general, other than the very low intense type movements, right? Like I'll always encourage anybody, if you can, to get up and go for walks, and or a bike ride, or things that are low intensity. Swimming is excellent too, right? Because you can kind of go at your own pace, and it's good to be in the water. um, so that's important as well. So, and in regards to cardiovascular training, here's the key: find fun activities to do. Honestly, guys, it's a lot more fun to do that than to go into the gym and just ride on an exercise equipment, okay? I feel like that's more of like, again, this is just my opinion, that seems more of like a slave mentality. Like you're going on this equipment and you're kind of like the hamster or whatever, right? Again, it's not judgment, it's just that's just the way that I feel. I'd rather play with my kids, jump on the trampoline and chase them around. And I love going for bike rides, kayaking or paddle boarding, or just swimming in a lake, across the lake, right? Really good exercise. So like, do what you can and do what's fun and enjoyable. So if going to a gym and just going on that Stairmaster or whatever equipment you're using is not fun, doesn't resonate with you, then don't do it. Do something that's more fun and exciting. And it's better to be outside anyways, guys. Out in nature is the best way to exercise, right? Do some hiking and stuff, then you get to nourish your body at the same time while you're exercising, right? Go up in the mountains and find some spring water and drink the water, pick some berries. Like, that's incredible, right? Now you got the sort of the food or the diet nourishment, and like full nourishment in nature, plus your movement as well. That's a really good way to get flowing, okay? But if you do resonate with that, you love going to the gym, it's a social thing, you do a little bit of social with the people, and it's, you have a sense of community, and you actually enjoy those exercise equipments, then by all means do that, right? Don't let my opinion steer you of that. Only you know what's best for you, okay? So yeah, so basically that's the three components. Can talk a little bit more. My again, because I'm very I kind of improvise on my cardio. It's just whatever activities I enjoy doing. So I probably don't have a whole lot to share in terms of that. But I do my strength training usually 2 or 3 times a week. So I'll do a separate video on strength training and resistance training in general, because there's definitely more factors in there, and I can just share sort of my experience of what I found was optimal, because it's a lot different than what I've heard and what I've seen. I've seen a lot of people getting hurt, not just hurt like physically or instantaneously, acutely with injuries, but actually chronically with the fact that they don't know how to balance the actual stimuli, right, or the stimulus of their training with the recovery, right? So there's a lot of variables there, and again, it's all energy flow, guys. You want to recover from your workouts, you got to get that energy flowing, right? So when you're done your workout, or even before your workout, you already want to be in a good energy flow state before you work out. Then when you're done your workout, you got to do some nourishment, right? And it's not just going for that. It's not going for that protein bar. Trust me. There's other ways that you need to nourish and reduce the inflammatory response of that training, because you are going to get a little bit of that, okay? But it's all part of driving, the adaptations to get your body stronger and more resilient, right? That's really what I think the intense exercise should be about. But again, I don't want to go too deep into that in this video. It's just an introduction to my philosophy on exercise and movement. All right. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed that, and many more to come. So, take care, guys. Enjoy this beautiful weather. I know I am.